January 17, 1943. The frozen ground of Kasserine Pass, Tunisia, crunches beneath Wehrmacht boots as Obergefreiter Klaus Richter adjusts his Karabiner 98K. Morning mist rises from the North African desert floor, carrying the metallic scent of frost and cordite. His gloved fingers trace the familiar wooden stock, worn smooth by months of desert warfare. In the pre-dawn silence, the bolt-action rifle feels reassuring, reliable, precise, engineered with Germanic thoroughness. 5 rounds in the internal magazine. 1 shot, 1 kill. This is how wars are won, he believes. This is how the Wehrmacht has conquered half of Europe. The young Bavarian soldier cannot fathom that across the valley, American GIs are loading 8-round en-bloc clips into rifles that will shatter everything he understands about infantry combat. The metallic ping of the M1 Garand's clip ejecting is still foreign to his ears, a sound that will soon become the harbinger of American firepower superiority. Richter grips his KAR98K tighter, unaware that he carries the last generation of battlefield rifles, while his enemies wield the future of warfare. Itself, the Mauser KAR98K represented the pinnacle of bolt action. Engineering when it entered German service in 1935, chambered in the powerful Mauser cartridge. This rifle had proven itself across European battlefields with devastating effectiveness. Its 5-round internal magazine, fed by stripper clips, delivered precise fire at ranges exceeding 800 meters. German marksmanship doctrine emphasized careful, aimed shots, quality over quantity. Each Wehrmacht soldier was trained to make every cartridge count, operating the bolt smoothly to maintain a steady 15 to 20 rounds per minute under combat conditions. This philosophy had served the Reich well during the lightning campaigns of 1939 through 41. Against Polish cavalry, French conscripts and Soviet units equipped with aging Mosin Nagants, the KAR98K proved more than adequate. German tactical doctrine centered on the machine gun as the primary infantry weapon, with riflemen providing supporting fire and protection for the MG crews. The bolt-action rifle fit perfectly into this system, accurate, reliable, and manufactured by the millions in factories across the Reich. But by 1943, as German forces first encountered American units in significant numbers, Wehrmacht soldiers faced a revolutionary weapon that challenged every assumption about infantry firepower. The M1 Garand, designed by French-Canadian immigrant John Garand and adopted by the U.S. Army in 1936, represented a quantum leap in small arms technology. This gas-operated semi-automatic rifle fired the .30-06 Springfield cartridge, a round ballistically comparable to the German 7.922 mm Mauser, but delivered through a weapon system that eliminated the fundamental limitation of bolt-action rifles: the need to manually cycle the action between shots. Where the KAR98K required soldiers to lift the bolt handle, pull it back, push it forward, and lock it down for each shot, the M1 Garand accomplished this entire sequence automatically through its gas-operated mechanism. American infantrymen could maintain a steady rate of fire between 40 and 50 rounds per minute, more than double the sustainable rate of bolt-action rifles. The psychological impact was immediate and devastating. German soldiers expected to face opponents armed with rifles similar to their own. Intelligence reports had prepared them for American equipment quality, but not for this fundamental shift in infantry firepower philosophy. Where Wehrmacht doctrine emphasized precision and fire discipline, American tactical thinking embraced sustained firepower and overwhelming volume of accurate fire. The 8-round en-bloc clip-fed M1 Garand perfectly embodied this philosophy. Quick to reload, impossible to short-load, and designed for rapid engagement of multiple targets. The first encounters were confusing for German troops. Veteran NCOs reported strange firefights where American rifle fire never seemed to pause, where they expected the familiar rhythm of bolt-action combat: shot, pause, bolt cycle, shot. They encountered continuous streams of semi-automatic fire. German soldiers found themselves suppressed by individual American riflemen, unable to return effective fire while working their bolt actions under pressure. Unterscharführer Werner Hoffmann of the 21st Panzer Division recorded in his diary after engagements near Fade Pass: "The Americans possess rifles that fire as rapidly as our machine pistols, but with the range and accuracy of infantry rifles, our men report being pinned down by single enemy soldiers who fire continuously without pause for reloading. This was not hyperbole. It was the tactical reality of semi-automatic fire superiority. The KAR98K's limitations became glaringly apparent under these new conditions. Each shot required 4 distinct manual operations before the rifle could fire again. Under stress, soldiers often short-stroked their bolts, failing to fully extract spent cartridges or properly chamber fresh rounds. The 5-round magazine necessitated frequent reloading using stripper clips, a process that required precise hand coordination and often left soldiers vulnerable during critical moments of engagement. American GIs, meanwhile, could engage targets as fast as they could acquire them and squeeze the trigger. The M1's semi-automatic action functioned reliably in desert sand, European mud, and Pacific jungle conditions. Its 8-round capacity meant fewer reloads, while the distinctive en-bloc clip system allowed for rapid magazine changes that kept American rifles in action longer than any bolt-action counterpart. The psychological effect extended beyond mere rate of fire. German soldiers had been trained to use the natural pauses in bolt-action combat, the moments when enemies worked their actions, to advance, reposition, or return fire. Against M1 Garands, these pauses disappeared. American riflemen could maintain continuous suppressive fire while their squad mates maneuvered, creating tactical situations German doctrine had never anticipated. From his concealed position overlooking the Kasserine Valley, Obergefreiter Richter peers through his rifle's iron sights as the first American patrol advances up the slope. The morning sun glints off metal, not the familiar gleam of bolt-action rifles, but something different. Longer barrels, distinctive wooden stocks. His thumb rests on the KAR98K's safety, ready to push it forward and engage. The Americans move with confident precision, their rifles held ready but relaxed. They have not yet spotted his position among the rocks. Richter breathes steadily, centering his front sight post on the lead American's chest. At 300 meters, an easy shot for a trained Wehrmacht marksman. He squeezes the trigger, feeling the Mausers' crisp break and sharp recoil. The shot echoes across the valley as his target drops. Working his bolt smoothly, Richter chambers another round and seeks his next target. But something is wrong. Instead of the scattered return fire he expects, wild shots from soldiers. Diving for cover, he faces a wall of concentrated, semi-automatic fire that forces him deep into his rocky shelter. The distinctive crack of 30 or 6 rounds impacts around his position in rapid succession, not the spaced shots of bolt-action rifles but the sustained fire of multiple semi-automatics working in concert. Chips of stone sting his face as bullets fragment against the rocks. He tries to return fire, but every time he exposes himself to work his bolt and aim, another stream of American rifle fire drives him back down. The tactical initiative has shifted in seconds from methodical German precision to overwhelming American firepower. This engagement, multiplied across hundreds of similar encounters, fundamentally altered German perceptions of American infantry capabilities. Wehrmacht after-action reports from Tunisia consistently noted the superior firepower of American rifle squads. German company commanders began requesting additional machine gun support to counter what they perceived as extraordinary American small arms density, not realizing they faced standard infantry units equipped with semi-automatic rifles. The sound became a symbol of American abundance and technological superiority. The metallic ping of an ejected en-bloc clip, dismissed by some as a tactical liability, actually represented something more profound. The sound of American industrial might translate it into battlefield advantage. Where German soldiers carefully conserved their limited ammunition supply, American riflemen carried multiple clips and possessed the logistical support to sustain high rates of fire. Each ping represented not vulnerability, but the inexhaustible productivity of American factories. German prisoners of war often expressed amazement at American equipment quality and quantity. Interrogation reports reveal consistent themes: surprise at the mechanical sophistication of American rifles, confusion about semi-automatic fire tactics, and grudging respect for the M1's reliability. Many German soldiers attempted to acquire captured Garands as personal weapons. Though Wehrmacht regulations generally prohibited such practices, the doctrinal implications extended far beyond individual weapon performance. German small unit tactics, refined through years of European warfare, assumed certain constants about infantry firefights. The M1 Garand invalidated many of these assumptions. American rifle squads could generate firepower approaching that of light machine gun teams, fundamentally altering the mathematics of tactical engagement. As battles progressed through North Africa, Sicily, and into Italy, German forces increasingly encountered the full impact of American semi-automatic rifle superiority. The 82nd and 101st Airborne's combat jumps into Sicily showcased the tactical advantages of M1-equipped paratroopers, who could establish defensive perimeters with individual riflemen providing base-of-fire support traditionally, requiring crew-served weapons. During the D-Day landings at Normandy, German defenders faced the ultimate test of American firepower doctrine. Wehrmacht positions along the Atlantic Wall had been designed to channel attacking forces into machine gun kill zones, expecting bolt-action armed infantry that could be suppressed by well-positioned automatic weapons. Instead, they encountered waves of American soldiers whose individual rifles could maintain sustained fire against defensive positions while supporting troops advanced under covering fire. Obergefreiter Richter, now defending a concrete bunker overlooking Omaha Beach, watches in growing desperation as American forces establish footholds on the sand below. His KAR98K, so effective in the open terrain of North Africa, feels inadequate against the massed firepower climbing the bluffs toward his position. Each American soldier carries a rifle capable of maintaining continuous fire, turning individual GIs into suppressive fire platforms that support their own advance. The bunker's machine gun crews report being unable to maintain effective fire due to constant harassing shots from American riflemen below. Where German doctrine expected advancing infantry to seek cover and call for artillery support, American tactics emphasized immediate aggressive fire and movement. M1-equipped soldiers could advance under their own covering fire, using semi-automatic capability to suppress defensive positions while moving to more advantageous positions. By mid-1944, German small arms development had begun responding to American semi-automatic superiority. The Gewehr 43, Germany's own semi-automatic rifle, entered limited production as a direct response to encounters with M1 Garands. However, wartime shortages and manufacturing constraints prevented widespread deployment. Most Wehrmacht soldiers would fight the entire war armed with bolt-action rifles, facing increasingly well-equipped American forces whose every rifleman possessed firepower advantages previously reserved for specialized troops. The transformation of German soldier attitudes paralleled their tactical situation. Early confidence in superior training and equipment gradually gave way to grudging respect for American firepower and industrial capacity. Wehrmacht veterans consistently noted the psychological impact of facing opponents whose rifles never seemed to empty, whose rate of fire exceeded anything in German small arms doctrine. Personal accounts from German POWs reveal the deeper implications of this technological disparity. Beyond tactical disadvantages lay a growing awareness of American material superiority. The M1 Garand represented not just a better rifle, but evidence of an enemy capable of equipping millions of soldiers with sophisticated semi-automatic weapons, while Germany struggled to maintain production of bolt-action rifles. Each encounter reinforced the reality of American industrial might, translated into battlefield advantage. The en bloc clip became the acoustic signature of American infantry supremacy. Its distinctive ping, heard across battlefields from Tunisia to the Rhine, marked not just empty magazines but the sound of American abundance. Where German soldiers carefully rationed their ammunition supply, American riflemen operated under logistics systems that could sustain high-volume fire indefinitely. The sound represented America's ability to transform raw materials into finished weapons faster than enemies could develop countermeasures. In the Hürtgen forest, during the brutal autumn fighting of 1944, Obergefreiter Richter, now a seasoned veteran of multiple campaigns, listens to the familiar sounds of American rifles echoing through the trees. The ping of ejected clips has become as common as artillery fire, a constant reminder of his enemy's technological superiority. His KAR98K, maintained with meticulous care through 3 years of combat, represents obsolescence in the face of evolving warfare. The forest fighting exposes the KAR98K's fundamental limitations in close-quarter combat, where bolt-action rifles excelled in open terrain with clear fields of fire. The dense woodland warfare of the Hürtgen favors rapid engagement and quick target acquisition. American soldiers with M1 Garands can engage multiple targets in rapid succession, transitioning between threats without the mechanical delay of bolt operation. German troops find themselves at severe disadvantage in the quick-developing engagements characteristic of forest warfare. Each firefight becomes a mathematical exercise in rates of fire. Where Richter can deliver perhaps 15 aimed shots per minute under ideal conditions, his American counterparts maintain twice that rate while achieving comparable accuracy. In the critical first seconds of contact, when tactical advantage shifts toward the side achieving fire superiority, bolt action, rifles consistently lose to semi-automatic fire. The KAR98K's 5-round magazine necessitates frequent reloading using stripper clips, a process requiring fine motor control and visual attention to properly guide cartridges into the magazine. Under combat stress, soldiers often fumble reloads or fail to fully seat cartridges, creating malfunctions that leave them vulnerable during critical moments. The M1's 8-round on-block clip system eliminates these complications, allowing for rapid magazine changes that keep weapons in action longer than any bolt-action alternative. German tactical doctrine began incorporating specific countermeasures for American semi-automatic superiority. Machine gun teams receive priority for ammunition resupply to maintain firepower parity with M1-equipped rifle squads. Infantry tactics emphasized covered approaches and indirect fire support to overcome the disadvantage of bolt-action rifles in direct engagement. However, these adaptations represented acknowledgement of fundamental technological inferiority rather than solutions to the underlying problem. The psychological impact extended beyond tactical considerations. German soldiers increasingly viewed American equipment as evidence of their enemy's vast industrial and technological resources. Where Wehrmacht propaganda emphasized superior training and fighting spirit, battlefield experience demonstrated the decisive advantage of technological superiority combined with adequate training. The M1 Garand represented American innovation applied to warfare, not merely superior manufacturing, but fundamental advances in weapons design philosophy. By late 1944, as German forces fought increasingly desperate defensive actions across multiple fronts, the cumulative effect of semi-automatic rifle superiority became undeniable. American infantry units could establish and maintain fire superiority with standard rifle squads, reducing dependence on crew-served weapons and increasing tactical flexibility. German defenders, constrained by bolt-action rifle limitations, required increasingly sophisticated defensive positions and greater ammunition expenditure to achieve equivalent results. At the Battle of the Bulge provided the final demonstration of M1 Garand effectiveness under extreme conditions. During the German winter offensive of December 1944, Wehrmacht forces achieved tactical surprise and initial success through careful planning and favorable weather conditions. However, as fighting developed into sustained engagements, American semi-automatic rifle superiority again proved decisive. Even surprised and initially outnumbered American units could establish defensive positions that German bolt-action equipped forces found difficult to overcome. Obergefreiter Richter, fighting in the frozen Ardennes, witnesses the ultimate expression of firepower disparity. His regiment, equipped entirely with KAR98K rifles and supported by limited machine gun sections, faces American defenders whose every soldier carries semi-automatic capability. The mathematical advantage becomes overwhelming. 8 American riflemen can maintain sustained fire equivalent to 16 German soldiers working bolt actions, fundamentally altering the force ratios necessary for successful assault. The winter conditions that favor German tactical surprise also expose bolt-action rifle vulnerabilities. Cold weather affects fine motor control necessary for smooth bolt operation, while ammunition conservation becomes critical as supply lines stretch across contested territory. American forces, supported by superior logistics and equipped with semi-automatic rifles less dependent on manual dexterity, maintain combat effectiveness under conditions that degrade German small arms performance. As the German offensive stalls and American counterattacks develop, the cumulative impact of M1 Garand superiority becomes apparent. Individual American soldiers can provide covering fire for advancing teammates, establish hasty defensive positions with limited personnel, and maintain sustained engagement rates that exceed anything possible with bolt-action rifles. The technological advantage, multiplied across thousands of individual engagements, contributes significantly to ultimate German defeat in the Ardennes. The transformation of German perceptions reflects broader changes in warfare philosophy. Early confidence in precision marksmanship and fire discipline gave way to recognition that sustained firepower and rapid target engagement had become decisive factors in infantry combat. The M1 Garand represented not just superior technology, but evidence of American adaptation to modern warfare requirements that German doctrine had failed to anticipate. Personal accounts from Wehrmacht veterans consistently emphasize the psychological impact of facing semi-automatic rifle fire. The continuous nature of American rifle fire, unbroken by the pauses necessary for bolt operation, created stress responses that degraded German combat performance. Soldiers reported difficulty in returning accurate fire when faced with sustained semi-automatic pressure, leading to reduced effectiveness of German small unit tactics. The en-bloc clip's metallic ping became an auditory symbol of American firepower philosophy. Where German soldiers learned to count shots and anticipate reloading pauses in enemy fire, the M1's distinctive ejection sound provided only momentary respite before resumed semi-automatic fire. American tactical doctrine incorporated deliberate clip ejection techniques, with soldiers carrying multiple loaded clips ready for immediate insertion, minimizing vulnerable reload periods. German attempts to acquire and utilize captured M1 Garands revealed both the weapon's effectiveness and the systemic advantages supporting American forces. While individual German soldiers often preferred captured Garands to their issued KAR98K rifles, logistical constraints prevented widespread adoption. American .30-06 ammunition differed from German 7.92mm cartridges, requiring separate supply chains that Wehrmacht logistics could not sustain. The rifles themselves, manufactured to American specifications and tolerances, required maintenance procedures and replacement parts unavailable through German military channels. These practical limitations highlighted deeper disparities between American and German military-industrial systems. The M1 Garand succeeded not merely as individual weapon system, but as component of integrated American approach to warfare that emphasized standardization, mass production, and logistical sustainability. German forces, constrained by resource limitations and manufacturing inefficiencies, could not replicate American success simply by copying weapons designs. The Gewehr 43, Germany's response to American semi-automatic superiority, entered production too late and in quantities too limited to significantly impact battlefield outcomes. Technical difficulties with gas system reliability and manufacturing quality control prevented widespread deployment, leaving most German soldiers armed with bolt-action rifles throughout the war. This represented not failure of German engineering capability, but consequences of strategic decisions that prioritized other weapon systems over infantry rifle modernization. By spring 1945, as Wehrmacht forces conducted final defensive actions across collapsing front lines, the cumulative impact of American semi-automatic rifle superiority had become overwhelming. German units decimated by casualties and depleted by constant combat faced American forces whose individual soldiers possessed firepower advantages that German doctrine could no longer counter effectively. The M1 Garand had become symbol of American military supremacy, representing technological innovation applied to warfare with decisive results. In the ruins of Berlin, during the final weeks of European warfare, Obergefreiter Richter reflects on 3 years of combat against American forces. His KAR98K, maintained with devoted care through countless engagements, represents the end of an era in military technology. The bolt-action rifles that had served German forces through 2 world wars had been rendered obsolete by American innovation and industrial capacity. Each encounter with M1-equipped American soldiers had demonstrated the decisive advantage of semi-automatic fire, transforming individual tactical engagements and contributing to strategic defeat. The metallic ping of ejected en bloc clips had become the acoustic signature of German defeat, not through any single decisive battle, but through thousands of individual encounters where American semi-automatic superiority proved tactically decisive. The sound represented more than empty magazines. It symbolized American ability to transform industrial capacity into battlefield advantage, equipping millions of soldiers with weapons that German forces could neither match nor counter effectively. The M1 Garand stands as testament to American technological innovation applied to warfare. Where German military doctrine emphasized precision and conservation, American philosophy embraced sustained firepower and overwhelming material advantage. The semi-automatic rifle represented this fundamental difference in approach, not merely superior manufacturing, but recognition that modern warfare favored rapid-fire capability over traditional marksmanship emphasis. The transformation of infantry combat through semi-automatic rifle adoption marked a decisive shift in military technology. The M1 Garand bridged the gap between bolt-action rifles and fully automatic weapons, providing individual soldiers with firepower previously requiring crew-served weapons, while maintaining accuracy and reliability necessary for effective infantry combat. This technological advancement, supported by American industrial capacity and logistical systems, contributed significantly to Allied victory in World War II. In the end, the ping of the en-bloc clip became more than mechanical sound. It became the voice of American democracy armed for total war. Each ejected clip represented not just expenditure of ammunition, but demonstration of a free society's capacity to outproduce, out-equip, and ultimately defeat totalitarian opponents through superior technology and industrial might. The M1 Garand proved that democratic nations, properly mobilized, could translate freedom's advantages into decisive military superiority. The KAR98K, for all its mechanical excellence and proven battlefield performance, represented the limitations of authoritarian military doctrine that emphasized control and conservation over innovation and abundance. German soldiers fought with distinction using bolt-action rifles, but their individual courage could not overcome systematic technological disadvantages that reflected deeper disparities between democratic and fascist approaches to warfare. As silence settles over European battlefields in May 1945, the distinctive ping of ejected en-bloc clips fades into history, but the lesson remains. Technological innovation, supported by industrial capacity and democratic values, provides decisive advantages in modern warfare. The M1 Garand demonstrated that freedom's arsenal, properly equipped and thoroughly supplied, could overcome any opponent, one semi-automatic shot at a time. The echo of that metallic ping would resonate through subsequent conflicts, reminding future generations that victory belongs not to those who merely fight with courage, but to those who combine bravery with superior technology, sustained by the inexhaustible productivity of free societies. In this collision between the KAR98K and M1 Garand, democracy's industrial might had spoken with a voice that fascism could neither silence nor answer, the voice of American abundance, ringing clear across the battlefields of the world.